Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have another golf ball review for you today, and we are doing the Volvik XT Soft Golf Ball. Finally a Volvik on the channel. It's been a long time coming. Let's dive in, let's see how we did. Alright, so this is the first Volvik golf ball I've ever tested on my channel. I don't know too much about Volvik. I know that a few years ago they sponsored the World Long Drive competition when I watched Kyle Berkshire for the first time. I remember seeing, everybody had the hat on, everybody had bags and, towels and everything. They really suited it up. And I always wanted to try a golf ball after that. I got to play one of these Volvik golf balls, and I remember I did kind of grab a sleeve of them from a local store. I think I was in Orlando at the time. And I remember playing on the course, and, I didn't test it at the time. I didn't have this channel, and I just remember not really being impressed enough. I was playing a golf ball, can't remember what it was, but it wasn't better than that one, and so I just never really picked it up again. But it's a company that is still stuck around. It's kind of niche. Not too many people know about it. I've tried asking a couple sources, in the industry, and it's one of those things where, yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't really know anything about it. I've never played with one, so it's kind of a mystery ball here. So I'm interested to see what these numbers are. The only other thing I really know about the company is I know they do kind of switch their models out here and there, because I ended up getting quite a few different Volvik models, only to find out that they discontinued those models and replaced them with a different one. So that tells me there is some experimentation there, and they have failed somewhere. They're still trying to find that sweet spot, which, hey, nothing wrong with that, but as long as this company's been around, it might be a little bit of a red flag, but we'll find out. The other thing I know about Volvik is I know if you've ever been to a golf store like PGA Superstore, Dick's, Golf Galaxy, one of those, you've probably seen these little box sets that are like Marvel superheroes, and you get 5 golf balls, and they're really expensive, but they have like the Hulk and yada yada yada, and that's Volvik. So that's really, if I had to pick one thing that I know Volvik for, it would probably be that, to be honest with you, which isn't a great thing to be known by, but I know every time I go into one of those stores, I see these big gift boxes, 5, 6, 7 golf balls, Marvel edition, superheroes. You can get them like in a 3, 2, whatever. They're kind of gimmicky. But again, that's really cool for a gift set, maybe for someone who likes that, wants to put it on the mantle. But how do these golf balls perform on the course? Are they actually worth your time, especially as an average golfer or a mid-handicapper? Let's find out, and let's start, as always, with the design of the golf ball. So, first of all, I have to say it looks and feels premium. By picking it up, feeling the coating on the outside, it feels like a nice, thick urethane coating. Really good there, as it should. This ball does come at a price point of $42 a dozen, which puts it right there, basically, with a value tour ball on the expensive side. Now, as far as an actual tour ball, that would be on the low side, but since no tour golf ball players that I know of are really playing this golf ball, we're going to call it Value Tour. It's on the more expensive line, kind of like with the Tour Response. The Tour Response is $42 a dozen, which also is one of the best golf balls I've tested on the channel. So that might be something to directly compare it to. So it looks good, got Volvik logo on the front with the one there. Turning it over on the side, it has a really good alignment tool. Actually, I really like this. A couple companies have done this where they have this more of like a rope design or whatever you want to call that. But that's really long, really thick. That's going to help anybody line their putt up. It's also easy to see. It's unique. It's different. So yeah, overall, the design of the golf ball does feel premium. It does look premium. And hopefully it holds up premium, which is awesome. So it checks those boxes. So let's get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see how it does around the green. All right, so my first attempt at chipping with the Volvik XT, the ball feels pretty good, to be honest with you. It actually feels kind of medium. There's a firm press there, but it's not clicky, it's not hard. It has a little tiny bit of bouncy ball effect, but it is definitely on the firmer side of that. So I would say it's probably in the middle, balanced really, which is not a bad thing. It's good to be right there in the middle. I prefer just a tiny bit more firmer when it comes to this, but hey, everyone has their preference. I think being right in the middle is a great place to be. So unfortunately, when it comes to spin, though, that's where this golf ball starts to kind of run into an issue. So when you're just chipping off the green, as far as trying to get some checkup, this is one of the less spinning golf balls, we'll say, that I've tested. It actually, I had trouble getting checkup, and I noticed that if I mishit it, there was pretty much no checkup at all, whereas if I hit it pure, yeah, it would be like a 5 out of 10. It wouldn't be bad necessarily. But other golf balls in this price point that I've tested before have been better. 7s, 8s, 9s out of 10s. I remember a couple Bridgestone balls actually stopped and came back at me a little bit just from off the green. So I've seen golf balls in this price range perform really, really well before, and this is one of the lesser ones, unfortunately. Off the putter, actually, I gotta admit, it feels really nice. Whether you're using a mallet putter, whether you're using a bladed putter, they actually did a really good job with the feel here. It does have a buttery feel. The roll isn't 100% true, but it's like a 9 out of 10. It's pretty darn close. I don't think most people will know. And like I mentioned earlier, the alignment tool actually does really help. You can see it very easily, and it's very easy to line up your putts and sink them in. So that part is good. Overall, it's not a bad performance around the green. I just really wish there'd been more spin. That's really one of the big pushbacks I get on the channel is when I recommend a two-piece golf ball, people tell me, nah, I need that checkup around the green. I need that, I need it to kind of stop a little bit and chug a little bit. And unfortunately with this one, I mean, if you hit it absolute perfect, you'll get a little bit of that, but otherwise it's just gonna keep on rolling like a two-piece. Okay, so a little disappointing there. Anytime you spend a ton of money on the golf ball, one of the reasons you buy a premium golf ball that's three-piece, has the urethane coating, is you're wanting some checkup around the green, you're wanting some of that. And compared to other golf balls I've tested on the channel, this one was definitely one of the lowest spinning ones. It honestly kind of, at times, like I said, felt just like a premium two-piece ball, which unfortunately for the price range is a little disappointing. However, we still haven't gotten to the actual numbers yet as far as the full shot clubs, so maybe we'll get there. And I do want to talk about the feel as far as off those full swing clubs just for a second. Not a fan at all. Feels really, really dead. It kind of reminds me of a Titleist ball a little bit. Titleist, if you haven't watched the channel before, the problem I have with Titleist balls is they're usually for faster swingers because you can feel that. They feel dead off the club. They feel really heavy off the club. Like they just don't have that bouncy ball power or the bouncy ball effects, what I call it on the channel, but it just doesn't have that spring, which is why I end up losing a few yards with most Titleist golf balls like the Speed, the Pro V1, stuff like that. They're just for advanced players, and that's immediately how this one felt, except I will say this one said, hold my beer, and took it to a whole nother level. I mean, just extremely dead, almost slow motion sometimes, and I really didn't like the feel, and then God forbid you mishit it off the toe or off the inside. There's a little sting in the hands too. It's definitely a firmer golf ball, which makes me a little worried about the numbers because anytime you have that, I've noticed in the past, it's usually affected the numbers quite a bit. Let's just find out how bad exactly. So let's go ahead and get into the 9-iron here. Let's get into the speed, 85.7, which is one of the lowest I've ever tested on the channel, and I was afraid of that. That's so disappointing. I was afraid that was going to happen based on the feel. I was hoping for the best, but I was prepared for the worst, and that definitely is the worst. 118.5. Again, really, really low on the distance there. My average is about 125, so I'm losing about 7 yards. 109.7 on your carry, which I'm losing 9 yards there. And then, which actually, that kind of leads me to believe that with the total distance being 7 yards off and the carry being 9, it actually makes me think I'm losing a little bit of spin here. So not good there either. And then launch angle 23.4, that's slightly high, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but when you compile it with those other numbers, that's really difficult. Anytime you have to take a wedge out or a 9-iron pitching wedge and you have to calculate 10 yards fewer, that's just tough. No one wants to do that. And again, it makes me believe that I wasn't compressing the golf ball. This could be for pretty fast swingers. We'll see. Getting into the 7-iron, we are looking at 6,300 spin, which is just slightly below average, but that's enough to stick a green. Nothing wrong with that. 103.3, excuse me. Very low, not going to get it done. 155.8, lost about 5 yards. 143.1, lost about 5 yards. And then a 19.2 launch, it launched high. Really disappointing there. A lot of the time with these golf balls, the 7-iron will start to iron itself out, pun intended. However, I will say that with this one, that being that low, I mean, it's just so rare for me to get 103 on a mile per hour. I mean, my average is about 106, 107. So that's really, really low. And that would lead me to believe that, again, just really firm, really hard. And even when I was testing it, I was noticing that. Every time I'd mishit it, I'd get kind of frustrated because it just felt like I wasn't giving it the pop it needed. Getting into the 5 hybrid now, 3,872 spin. That is way below average, and I hate that. I have to at least have 4,000 with a golf ball. Otherwise, it just doesn't stick the green. Oh my goodness, there's no way. Oh, that is awful. 110.4. Whew. That is so bad. That is 7 mile an hour lower than my average. Holy cow, man, I've never tested a golf ball like this. 181.2, I lost 11 yards. 164.6, I lost 13 yards. Holy cow. And then it launched 14.9, which again, hey, that's consistent. If I have to give this ball something, I will say that it is consistent with its ball flight. So far, it's just been slightly above average every time, and it's been consistent. But unfortunately, so far, that is the only nice thing I can say about it. This is extremely abysmally low. I have not, that leads me to believe, again, that it's just out of my swing speed. Let's go ahead and get into the driver, see how we did there. 2,000, no, okay, now this is interesting. 2,419 spin. That is by far the lowest I've ever tested on the channel, by far. I've never been in the 2400s to my knowledge. 221.7 on your total, wait, no, maybe I messed it up. Maybe that's, no, that's, oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, so 221.7, I lost 21 yards with this ball on my driver. 128.4 with the mile per hour. I lost 8 mile an hour. I lost 21 yards on the carry, and it launched at 12.4, which is extremely, extremely low. Yeah, I mean, I knew, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't know the numbers were bad. I knew they were going to be rough. I don't know what the averages are. I usually put those in and keep them out of my mind. I don't compare them. I don't go in depth until I get on camera. So I knew they were going to be rough, but this is something else. I think this might be the worst golf ball I've ever tested. I tested the Wilson 500 a while back, and it was very, very poor. I mean, I was losing like 13 yards on my driver. Losing 21 yards with your driver, I just can't imagine. And, it's not, my first thought would be maybe this golf ball is a lemon, maybe something's wrong with it, but I actually did get a sleeve of these, and I tested 3 different models. So I doubt the whole sleeve was a lemon, and frankly, if it was, then it deserves the hate. Because, I mean, if you have 3 lemons, so gosh, that's just really disappointing. I mean, I knew, like I said before, from the feel, I knew it was going to be kind of rough, but I had no idea it was going to be this rough. That is so bad. Before I get into my final conclusions here, we'll talk about the durability real quick. Durability-wise, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. You'll notice that there are some cosmetic issues there. Like if you look at it, like it kind of looks a little rough here and there, but honestly, if you feel it, it's nothing. It's smooth. So I think it's just that nice thick urethane coating on the outside is really taking the beating for the golf ball. As long as those scratches don't get into the actual golf ball itself and just really affect the outside coating, you're okay for the most part. That's kind of what the coating's designed to do. So I would say that it's done really well there. I like the durability. I would give it a very, very good score there. I think it held up really, really well, really smooth. I think it looks and feels premium. Unfortunately, when it just comes to the numbers, they're just not there. Okay, so final thoughts. Obviously, I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it to mid-handicappers, average swingers, 92, 93 mile an hour with the driver. It's abysmal. It's the worst I've ever tested. Is there a chance this golf ball would perform really well if I had a 110 to 115 mile an hour swing? Maybe. It could. I don't know. It could. Unfortunately, because I don't have that swing and I don't know anyone who has that swing and I have no way to swing that fast, I won't know. My golf channel is centered around testing golf balls for average swing guys, and trying to basically guess who a golf ball is for. I would say there is a chance that this golf ball could be for fast swingers. So if you're someone who swings 110, 115 mile an hour, check out a different review maybe, or you can give it a try, buy a sleeve, whatever, that's up to you. Now, speaking to the average swing crowd, stay away from it. It has no use. It's awful. It's terrible. I hate how it feels. It feels so dead. It feels so hard off the club. Even on pure hits, you strike it pure and it feels yucky. It just feels really bad. And so everything from the feel to the greenside performance, coupled with, just the abysmal numbers, losing 21 yards with the driver, there's just not much to talk about really that's good other than the durability and the design. Those things were great, but when you have a golf ball $42 a dozen, the Wilson Zip is $1 a golf ball basically, and it absolutely kicks this golf ball's butt, especially for those mid swingers to high swingers, that 90 mile an hour range. So overall, really disappointed. I wish my first Volvik test would have gone a little better, but there are some other models, so maybe those other ones will do a little bit better. Guys, as always, keep watching and keep saving and keep learning. Until next time.